Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Mission Snapshot. We are so thankful that you have joined us today. We're excited to share some more stories with you, but before we get there, I wanted to remind you that Hannah is on the other side over there, and she is monitoring Facebook, so if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them below. And she will be adding a link or two throughout the show, so please keep an eye out for that. It'll be information that you will want to have. Today in the studio, we have Christina with us. Hi. So it's Bible Worker Day. Yeah. And I just want to throw out there for people that Veronica is here, but she's over there and not on the set with us. But she's cheering us on from the sidelines, so we're thankful for that. So for you, where are we going today for our Bible Worker stories?
Our stories today come from Tripura, which is in northern India and it's east of Bangladesh.
Okay. So our map is showing that it's on the other side where the little dangle of land is when you're looking at just the map of India.
Yeah, it's a pretty small area of India. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So Bible workers.
Yes, I actually have 5 stories today, and they each one tell a little bit different kind of acts of service the Bible workers did to reach people for Jesus.
Now these are stories, if I remember you telling me correctly, that these were done during the lockdown. So right. This is really current.
Yes.
And the Bible workers are looking for ways to connect, even though they're not able to do much of their regular work, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's correct. Okay. So my first story today is about Em and Joy. And she, like most people during the pandemic, has thought that having a garden is a good idea.
Okay.
So she started planting a garden, and then she started helping her neighbors also start gardens in their own yards. Mm-hmm. So she was enjoying working with the ladies, and they would go out into the forest to collect pieces of bamboo or sticks and such so they can build kind of some makeshift fences around these gardens because they wanted to be able to keep the goats and the chickens or the cows from trampling their plants.
And that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so while she's working with the ladies, this is giving her opportunity to build relationships. So she took advantage of that and started teaching them about Jesus, just telling them about his love and some stories from the Bible. And these ladies were really interested. And so she continues to tell them stories, and she invited them to church, and she also offered Bible studies to them.
Wow.
So they are waiting. They're thinking about Bible studies and making that decision. So we can pray that they make that decision to take Bible studies.
So I can imagine Em and Joy as they're going through the forest and picking up the wood to just casually tell stories like Jesus did when he was walking by the way. Yeah. He would see something and then try and share a spiritual truth with the people who were around him.
Or she's just, introducing them to a friend of hers, kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's something that we can all do. Even if we are not excited about knocking on doors, we can do a group activity and just share stories.
And start chatting. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Cool. All right. Who's next?
Okay. The next story is Rajiv. And he was going out actually visiting some of his neighbors. And when he did that, he met a man that was having lots of joint and nerve pain.
Right.
So Rajiv offered to pray with this man and then give him a massage.
Wow.
And while he was doing that, he's also talking to him about the benefits of healthy eating. Mm-hmm. And this guy was just really excited that Rajiv was visiting him and helping him feel better. Right. And he was interested in what he was teaching. So he begged him, come back and visit me again. And, that's hard for them during the lockdown. So he couldn't always go back to his house and visit him, but he did contact him, sent him messages on the phone. Mm-hmm. And kept encouraging the man and praying with him. Right. And so this man has also promised that once the restrictions are lifted, he will come to his church.
Oh, that's really nice. I really appreciate that. And I just want to let our viewers know that for the Bible workers, when they're going door to door, they go far and wide. So on a regular basis, many times they're in 2 or 3 villages away from their own place. So the fact that they're limiting where they're going to just those people who are nearby mm-hmm. Just so that folks don't think that they're breaking the lockdown rules entirely. It's just that they're now staying closer to home, and yet they're still finding ways that they can minister for Jesus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my third story is about Ranjit. And Ranjit during the lockdown was doing mostly phone calls, mostly reaching out and making contacts, and then doing Bible. They do Bible studies over the phone and such. But one day he was in town, and he met this woman, and this woman was having a rough day because she had lots of house trouble. Her house, I guess, had gotten damaged somehow, and so it was like almost like crumbling. This cement, it starts to crack, and the wall practically just literally falls apart.
Right.
And so, but Ranjit didn't have any money to give to this lady to help her. But he did have skills, and he had time. And so he offered to come and help her do some repairs on her house. What it ended up being is he practically rebuilt her whole house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this lady was very thankful. She equally didn't have any money to pay a laborer to come to help her.
Right.
So this really impacted her. You know, it touched her heart. And, you know, while he's working, he's just sharing about Jesus. Just telling her stories and telling her about Jesus' love and how powerful he is. And, you know, that made her start to think. And she started thinking, you know, my God is just an idol. She admitted that. You know, it was made by some man's hands. It's not really a God.
Wow.
So she made those connections, and Ranjit has invited her to come to church too. So she's also planning once what they're able to start meeting again.
So if I'm remembering correctly, you mentioned that the lady was a widow. And so for the widows, it's harder for them to do things because they don't have anybody really supporting them. And so for someone to come along and help her with her house when she has nothing to give, that is a huge act of love, and she would be greatly impressed by that, because widows are not as revered.
Right. She wouldn't feel like she deserved anything. That
exactly.
big of gift.
Exactly. Yeah. And the fact that he had time because he couldn't be doing anything else, God used that, and he was able to help hers, which I think is fabulous how God did that.
Yes. And so my next story, this man's name is Ram Kumar. And again, like the other Bible workers, was doing mostly phone visitations. But when he needed more contacts, him and his wife would go out and try to connect with people.
Okay.
So they were doing that, and they met Ashati. I knew I was going to get her name wrong. Ashati. And this lady was very hospitable. She invited them into her home and gave them something to drink, and they sat and chatted for, I'm sure, a long time.
Wow.
And so the conversation was mostly about the pandemic and what was going on in their world. But Ram Kumar took advantage, and he started sharing, about the signs before Jesus is coming, about some prophecy that the Bible teaches. And this lady was really interested. Her husband come in. He was very interested.
Wow.
And they, wanted them to come back and visit. And they started doing that, going to her home and visiting.
Wow.
And the neighbors started listening. They would notice neighbors outside the house listening to what this man's teaching,
Yeah, because they don't have traditional windows and doors in a lot of villages. And so it's very easy to eavesdrop and learn things without looking like you're eavesdropping and learning things.
Exactly. So now there's two other couples that have actually joined in this small group, and they're meeting on Sabbath. They're,
amazing.
Regularly meeting. So we want to pray for them, pray for their protection, but also that this grows.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Okay, one last story is Sanjeev. And he decided he was going to go visit all the church members from his church.
Okay.
So he is systematically going through and going to each one of their houses and praying with them, encouraging them. He was reading the Bible with them. Probably many of them don't have their own Bible.
Right.
So he's reading to them, sharing promises, and he's also teaching them about the signs of Jesus' second coming. So they're talking a lot about that. But after his visits, they say how much more peace they have.
Right.
It's comforting to them to hear the truths of the Bible.
Right, because many people in villages don't read for themselves, and so it's not easy for them to just take a Bible off the shelf and read it. And so having someone come and read to them, then that spirit of the word, permeates the house, and so it makes it more peaceful.
Yes, yes. So they're all very thankful for that. And so he also noticed that the men were busy working there's a rubber plantation there. So he joined right with them and started, helping to trim the rubber trees. They were collecting the sap, and this made a big impression in the men's hearts that he's willing to work along with them.
Wow, yeah, because that's not easy work either.
No, but he was taking that opportunity to build relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, well, I really appreciate these stories because the Bible workers are not able to do what they regularly do.
Right.
But they're still looking for ways to share the gospel. And God is opening doors. And a lot of it has to do with just helping and serving.
Being of service and recognizing the needs in the people's lives and how they can help them.
That's true. We've talked before about how we can get so busy that we don't see other people. Right. And so these Bible workers actually see the people around God. They're connecting with God so that they hear him say, there's someone. And then they're going to do that, going to do whatever God has
whatever
shown
it is,
them to
build
do.
a house, give them a massage.
Yeah. Pick up wood in the woods and come back and build a garden. Yeah, and so these are simple things, and many times we complicate what sharing the gospel looks like.
Or we think we have too much to do in our own lives.
Yeah.
We have this major list of every day we're trying to get all these things done. And And if you really think about it, their life is actually, doing the little things over in India is harder than for us. They don't have dishwashers or, washing machines.
Yeah. Yeah. So for them, they're just cooking is a little bit more labor intensive, and keeping the house clean is more labor intensive. They don't have vacuum cleaners.
Right.
They have little straw things that they use.
Broom things.
They're little broom things. Yeah. But yet they will always stop and help other people. And
sharing Jesus is number one in every day, in everything they do.
Yeah. I'm always humbled when you bring Bible worker stories.
I am too.
Because I always look and go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see change that's needed. Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming and sharing these stories of these Bible workers. So we thank you for joining us today. And if you're interested in learning more about the Bible Worker Program or our evening schools or even our widow program, please go to jesusforasia.org, and you can see the full list of our projects if you click the donate button in the upper right corner of the screen, and it will take you to the page where we have our list of projects. Also, for those of you who may be new to this video, if you're watching this on YouTube, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube page so that you'll get notifications when we put up a new video. And if you're watching this on Facebook, please like our page, and that way you'll see our announcements about our upcoming videos. So we thank you for joining us, and this has been your Mission Snapshot.